knew it! The criminal mastermind behind all this is none other than Santa Claus!
What if I told you one of the most iconic heroes of the 90s was a worm? Not a ninja, not a mutant turtle, not a space marine, a literal earthworm in a spacesuit. Today, we're talking about Earthworm Jim, one of the weirdest, funniest, hardest, and most 90s games ever made. This game didn't just fit the gross out era of the 90s, it helped define it. And somehow a worm in a robotic suit became a hit video game, a toy line, a full-blown cartoon, and one of the most chaotic mascots of the 16-bit era. So grab your plasma blaster and let's dive headfirst into the slimy madness. And let's face it, the 90s were weird, man. This was the decade of Nickelodeon slime, Garbage Pail Kids, Ren and Stimpy,
Come out, wherever you are. Hey!
Beavis and Butthead,
I'm gonna get one in my nose. I'm gonna get one in my butt.
boogers and commercials. Gross was funny. The more disgusting and absurd something was, the cooler it felt. And Earthworm Jim fit perfectly into that vibe. This wasn't a clean-cut hero like Mario. This wasn't a cool, edgy anti-hero like Sonic. This was a worm who could take his own head off and use his body like a whip. He fought evil cats, giant boogers, floating psychic villains, and sentient junk piles. It was loud, it was bizarre, it was random. And that randomness, that was 90s magic. Now here's the wild part. Earthworm Jim wasn't created by some huge corporate think tank. He was created by a group of animators and game developers who wanted to push 16-bit graphics to the absolute limit. The game was developed by Shiny Entertainment, and one of the key creators was David Perry. They wanted to make something that looked like a cartoon in motion, and they succeeded. Unlike most 16-bit games that relied heavily on pixel art shortcuts, Earthworm Jim had smooth, exaggerated animation. It looked like something straight off Cartoon Network before Cartoon Network even really exploded. The character designs were wild, expressive, and over the top. The team even had animators sketching exaggerated frames like they were making a real cartoon. That's why the game felt so alive. Okay, let's talk about something we all remember. The game was hard, like throw your controller across the room hard. Levels like What the Heck, For Pete's Sake, Down the Tubes, the infamous underwater escort missions. You had tight jumps, instant deaths, time limits, ridiculous enemy placement. And that underwater level, you had to escort a fragile glass bubble through spikes. One wrong move, back to the beginning. It wasn't unfair, but it was punishing. And that was kind of the 90s. Games were designed to challenge you hard because, 1, rentals were huge, 2, developers wanted replay value, and 3, difficulty made you talk about the game, and boy did people talk about Earthworm Jim. Now, let's talk about the commercials. If you remember these.
This is the story of Earthworm Jim video game. In outer space, a sweet evil cyborg lost a green cyberspace suit while it smooshes. Bring that slimy Earthworm Jim, and blammo! He becomes a superpowered hero. He takes out that precious dog. Then that stupid worm goes onto the planet Heck. He even tries mucus spongy jumping.
And if that doesn't stop him, maybe the battle with Queen festering sweaty slug for a butt will. Earthworm Jim playmates.
They were gross. There were shots of worms, slime, over-the-top weird humor. It leaned hard into that 90s shock comedy. They didn't market Jim as a cool hero. They marketed him as absurd. And it worked. Because kids in the 90s didn't want normal. We wanted weird. And now, let's talk about the cartoon.
Earthworm Jim, the soil he did crawl.
Because of the game's popularity, Earthworm Jim became a full animated series. The show aired in the mid-90s and leaned fully into the absurdity. Jim was overconfident, he was goofy, heroic in the dumbest way possible. The humor was chaotic and self-aware. It wasn't just gross out, it was clever. It poked fun at superhero tropes constantly. The cartoon solidified Jim as more than just a game character. He became a full 90s icon. Now, we gotta talk about the soundtrack. The music was bizarre. Operatic in some levels. Cartoony in others. The game even used classical music pieces in unexpected ways. Sound effects were exaggerated. Enemies screamed. Jim yelled dramatic one-liners like, "Ow! Ow!" It felt like playable slapstick comedy. You see, here's the thing. The 16-bit era was stacked. You had Mario, Sonic, Mega Man, Donkey Kong Country, but Earthworm Jim didn't try to compete by being faster, or cooler, or even edgier. It competed by being weird, and that uniqueness is why people still talk about it today. Earthworm Jim proved that games could be cartoons, humor could carry a platformer, weird could sell. It captured everything chaotic about the 90s. Gross humor, high difficulty, experimental design, bold personality, and somehow a worm in a robotic suit became unforgettable. So tell me in the comments, did you beat Earthworm Jim or did it beat you? And if you grew up in the 90s, you know. Sometimes the weirdest heroes are the ones you never forget. And I will see you next time, Wormies. And if you would like to see more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And remember to stay groovy.
Eat dirt, Psychro! Fish! It's Earthworm Jim blasting his archenemy Psychro! Uh-oh, when Peter Puppy gets mad, he turns into...
But first, a word about Earthworm Jim 2 video game! It's out there!
Bouncing puppies,
Falling grandmas, hungry airheads, and some really weird stuff, too! It's like the worm says...
Groovy!
Earthworm Jim 2 video game!
Back to Peter Puppy.
I'm out of here!
His rage has transformed him into monstrous Peter Puppy, uncontrollably smashing the nearest thing, which happens to be Psychro. Earthworm Jim figures in video game.